There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 series. Tonight, coming from the one and only Road Atlanta for round 5, I'm John Van Ree. With me, I've got Mark Duggan. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, very good, John. Good to be here. Good to be back at Road Atlanta. Great track.
All right,
Yeah, definitely a good track. These boys in the last minute or two of practice at the moment before we go into qualifying. Let's have a quick look at the old Road Atlanta circuit. It's not a new circuit to iRacing. We've been here many times before, and we start down one pit lane where we sweep through the fast-flowing turn 1, up the hill into turn 3 where we jump on the brakes as we come over the crest before we roll down the hill through the S's, where we come up out of turn 5, sweeping up over the rise, going across the crown without losing control, rolling ourselves down through turn 6, up to the top of the hill to turn 7, and then we got the big long back straightaway through turns 8 and 9, down into the infamous 10A, 10B complex. We then come up over the hill through turn 11 under the bridge, and then we sweep down through the fast-flowing turn 12 back onto the start-finish straight to do it all again for 68 circuits around. This is one of the great circuits, Mark. It's a driver's track, it's a drafting track, and I reckon these boys will put on some great racing here again tonight like they have previously.
Yeah, absolutely, John. It's a great fun track to drive. It's very bumpy in places. The car gets unsettled very easily. Lots of blind corners. Yeah, lots of little minefields everywhere that can trip you up. And yeah, I think the boys always love racing here. It always produces great racing in the V8. So yeah, looking forward to how it unfolds.
Yeah, let's have a very quick look at the championship standings, see how they're going. Start off with our split 1 boys. James Scott, very commanding position at the moment on 540 points. Highway sitting in second with 518 points. Adam Briggs on 508. Dave Kirby sitting out tonight. He's had a pretty tough week with the passing of one of Fishy's biggest supporters, Eddie Klimowitz. So big shout out to Dave. I know you're in the chat there, mate. We are all thinking of you and the Fishy boys this evening. And in 5th place, we've got Anthony Visma on 490, Damien Johnstone on 488, Craig Schultz on 474, Jordan Ross on 471, Dylan Rudd 328, Brady Baldwin rounds out the top 10 on 328 points. Have a quick look at the Super 2 boys. Still a very small field. I've got a few extra ones in here this evening, which we'll talk about a bit later. But Dylan Gray leading the series there on 526 points from Robbie Bradbury on 522 points. Will Munro not with us tonight because he's in Canberra on 511 points. Timmy Mulford 353. Simon Vella, Tyrone Walsh, Malpal, Robert Crow. Ash Barella is back with us this evening. Jamie McKnight, Ross Watson, and we've got a few other names we'll talk about a bit later there, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Dylan Gray doing a great job in his first season with us at East Coast, and Robbie Bradbury's been performing very well week in, week out. Timmy Mulford's back after a couple of weeks' absence. Good to have Tim back. And of course, in the Split 1 drivers, a big welcome back to Blake Warboys, who's been not with us for a few rounds now. So I'm sure Blake will stir up the front of the grid.
Absolutely. And of course, a big shout out to everyone in the chat as well. We've got a few out there already. Accelerate Sim Racing's representing, cheering on Anthony Visma, Steve Murray out there, Dave's out there as well, Dave Kirby, and of course the one and only Sir David Baldock, the legend of South Australia himself, is in the chat as well. I think we're in for a good one tonight, Mark. This is going to be a very competitive field. I think James Scott will have a little bit of pressure put on him, hopefully from War Boys and Hobson and Jordan Ross. And of course, we also have some of the 9.5 boys back as well in Dylan Rudd. So it's going to be some great racing, I think.
Yeah, we know Dylan always performs well. He's a very quick driver. His one lap pace is very similar to James Scott, so it'll be an interesting tussle for pole position, I think. But Jay Ross from the Synergy camp was very quick in practice, so yeah, Jordan's come prepared for this evening, and he will give a good account of himself as he does every round.
Of course, the pointy end with our Pro Series guys, those good boys are backing it up for the final round of the Logitech G Pro Series tomorrow night. So this is their last chance to have a hit out before that. So expect these boys to be playing for sheep stations up front. As Jordan Ross sets the fastest time, Dylan Rudd tops that one out. James Scott tops it out with a 1:17.8. Already 1/10 faster than Dylan Rudd. And Dylan Rudd not giving the Synergy Sim Racing boys it all their own way. And War Boys sitting there in 7th. Brady Baldwin, one of the big improvers this season, got him sitting there comfortably in 8th at the moment. Timmy Mulford's done well to put himself into 9th. So some pretty good stuff going on there already, Mark.
Yeah, Timmy Mulford, like I said, currently sitting in 9th position. He was doing some good lap times in practice as well. Yeah, and Brady Baldwin, certainly a big improver in the series. I think from memory he got on the podium last week and gave a very good account of himself at a res. So yeah, he's doing very well. I think I just heard maybe Blake Warboys asking for a tow. I'm not sure if that's going to be the end of his qualifying.
Let's see if we can find out what's going on with Blake. He was sitting in there. He is back in pits at the moment, so haven't seen anything. He did go off track though, but haven't seen anything for a tow. So let's just jump on board. He's blown his engine going into 10A by looks there. Actually, not quite 10A. That's into turn out of the S's there, heading in turn 7 up the hill. So he's had an engine blow and towed back. So that's the end of War Boys' qualifying session.
So the best he's going to do is 7th by the look of it.
Yep. Let's see if anyone else doesn't come in and set a better time. So we will see from there where we go.
Sean McNamara still looking to set a time. I did see him get a bit of an off track on the lap he was on, so he's going to have to get a new set of boots and try again. Each lap that goes by that you don't set a time puts a little bit more pressure on for the next lap.
Definitely throwing that pressure on very early. So see how we're going to roll out here. These boys, I've gone through those first 5 minutes as I'm sitting on the wrong car. Apologise for that. Everyone on an out lap now. So jump on board with Adam Briggs. So we know how fast Adam can be, former champion of the series. Up through the top of the hill. This is this long back straightaway that we talk about. Typical straightish straight line with 2 corners in it. Big shout out to Pete Keller in the chat. See these Synergy boys all jockeying to get position here. So definitely a bit of work to be done. Craig Schultz has had an off as well. Across this blind crest that we talk about in the turn 3. Get the power down carefully as we head down through the S's. Use the curbs on both sides here. Turn 5 up the hill. Across the crest. Hear the car go light. We go across. Then pull it back. Sweep it up the hill. 36. Hard braking into 7. 90-degree corner. Need a great exit. Get the power down. Nicely done by Briggsy. Now we come through 9, head down the hill, braking hard into 10A, into 10B. Careful not to use too much of the track there. You don't want to get an off track. Cross the crest through 11, and then the big sweeping finish in 12. And Briggsy has got a 1X there, I think.
Yeah, I think you got a 1X into 10A, John.
Yep. Close to it. A little bit disappointed with that one. I think he was on a good time. Let's have a look who else might be out on track at the moment. Have a look at Brody Baldwin as part of that run. Jump on with Anthony Visma. He's ducking into the pits. Chris Blanchard. What can he do here? He's about to start a lap, I think. Hey, Chris Blanchard, one of the Split 1 Vets races that we've got in tonight. Racing all the way from up in Grafton in northern New South Wales. Nicely hustles it through there. Big shout out to Joshy Barella who's watching as well. As we're through the 9-minute mark, this qualifying period.
Yeah, Chris has been driving exceptionally well in the Vet Series, and it's good to have him here tonight. Didn't realise he was from Grafton, Jacaranda country up there. They'd be in full bloom at the moment up there. Done the Grafton Inverell bike race many times. Killer race, that one, and yeah, raced against some big names from motorsport in that race, actually, mainly bike riders Troy Bayliss and Troy Heffross, both exceptional talents on a push bike and a motorbike.
Same level of fear factor, I think, Mark. And Blanchy does a 1:19.2. Doesn't get himself up the order a bit more. Jordan Ross is the next man who's going to come through for a screaming run. Jump on to the Mustang. A few guys getting out of his way there. Of course, out of sequence with everybody. Not the greatest time to be. The boys getting out of his way. Using all the exit there on coming out of turn 5. So that second sector was a yellow sector, so he hasn't improved. But we'll see what he can do in this final sector now. Got some more traffic in front of him, I think. Under the bridge. And he's bailed on that lap. Very interesting. Let's jump on with James Scott. He's on an out lap. See these boys working very hard to get out of the way.
Yeah, such a high-speed circuit and many blind areas on this track. It's not easy to feel your way around here without upsetting another driver, especially in the final throws of qualifying because we're down to the last 3 minutes.
These boys pretty much only going to have one more crack at this, so they need to make this count. Dylan Rudd's in this group as well. Smyrn in second. Gordon Ross has got himself back out on track. And Rudd heads up the hill. Getting a lot of curb out of 3. That would have slowed his time down a little bit. And that's Rudd's out of it. Jump on with James Scott. Being very composed again. He'd be quite relieved. He would know that Rudd's bailed. Dylan's probably going to take the cut through on the circuit, hope to get it back out and get another lap around in time, I would say. I'd say that's what he's done. Have to keep an eye on him, Mark. I don't think...
Yeah, sorry, John. Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Sean Mack too because he still hasn't been able to set a time, so this could be his last chance.
This is coming down in a 10A, 10B now. James Scott with a purple sector, but 2 yellow sectors to precede it. Sean Mack comes through the final corner and crosses the line, puts himself into 5th. Great effort from Sean, 1:18.34.
Now we know how quick Sean is. He obviously just needed that one lap where he put it all together, and yeah, great lap to put himself into P5 with a minute remaining in qualifying. So yeah, great effort from Sean.
And Dylan Rudd staying in pits. What can Briggsy do here in the last 30 seconds? I think he might be heading back to pits maybe. See if we can find someone else. Brenton Hobson's on an out lap. Will he get across the line in time? I think he will. Hobbo's last roll of the dice. Looks like he's backed out of that as well. Maybe. The time is up. So where we cross the line now is where we finished. Mulford gets himself into 13th. Bradbury into 16th. What can Hobbo do as he heads down the back straight away? This is the man who has potential to get himself up into those top standings. Down the hill, braking hard in the 10A. Nice exit out of 10B. Up over the crest now, downhill. Turn 12 for the final time. And Hobson jumps up one spot, knocks McNamara back down and finishes himself in 6th. Wismer, I think, will be rolling on an in lap. Robbie Bradbury, he's on the back straightaway. It sounds like he's going slowly as well. And so is Ash Barella. So I think qualifying's been run and done, Mark.
Yeah, great session there. James Scott and Dylan Rudd only separated, well, ended up a couple of tenths of a second there. So, but Dylan showing he does have good one-lap pace, and just hopefully he can take it to James in the race and execute a good race strategy. Jordan Ross in P3, Adam Briggs P4, Damien Johnson P5. So yeah, it was a great session.
A very good session. And of course, only 0.02 of a second separates Dylan Rudd and Jordan Ross. So that's a pretty impressive outing there as well. As we might just jump onto the grid board and have a quick look and run through our grid. On pole, we've got James Scott from Synergy Sim Racing alongside 95 Sim Sports, Dylan Rudd. Row 2 sees Jordan Ross from Synergy Sim Racing alongside his teammate Adam Briggs. And then in row 3, we have Damien Johnstone from Synergy Sim Racing alongside teammate Brenton Hobson. Row 4, we've got the El Supremo of 95 Sim Sports, Sean McNamara himself in 7th, alongside WK&P Sim Sports, Black Wall Boys in 8th. Brady Baldwin from Synergy Sim Racing in 9th. Keep an eye out for him. He's been one of the big improvers. He's alongside Craig Schultz from 95 Sim Sport in 10th. In 11th, we've got Riley Bilson from 95 alongside Chris Blanchard from WK&P. And then we move on to the 7th row where we've got Tim Mulford for Phoenix Racing alongside Blair Van Ree from WK&P, who is ahead of Anthony Visma from Accelerate Sim Racing. In 16th, we've got Robbie Bradbury from Pacific Esports Racing. And then after that on the next row, we have Dave Coleman from Fishy Motorsports. Great to have Dave back here as well tonight, alongside Dylan Gray from SLM Motorsport. Will Buchan comes back for his second race with us, and he's sharing his row with Ash Barella coming out of 20th from WK&P. Young Blake Gallen from WK&P in 21st alongside Tom Freer. Keep an eye out for Tom as he does the hard charge. And then we didn't get a time out at Troy Stone Street. Mandeep is one of our 2 race control guys this evening as we go over the page. And Richard Varela is our safety car driver, and Gunther von Nordschleife is the other race control person we've got in tonight, Mark. I think we are in for a cracking race.
Yeah, I didn't realise actually Tom Freer was with us, but yeah, Tom doing Tom things, starting from the rear of grid again by the look of it. Look for a hard charge from Tom throughout the race. Good to have Troy Stone Street here too. He's been racing extremely well in Vet Split 1. Stepped up from Split 3 straight to Split 1, so he's doing outstanding work in Vets, and good to have him here.
Yeah, great to have him. Keep an eye out for Troy. He was an extraordinary force in Split 3, and we have the went straight into Split 1, which is a great effort, and he's done the work using this event as a bit of practice to improve his blipping skills. We'll see what he can do as what screens are all changing for some reason, but that's all right. Blake Warboys was starting out of 8th, Stephen. So he's on track, I believe, at the moment. There he is. No, he's not. Change cameras. There he is. Lights are on. Or lights are flashing. As we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lights are out and we're away. Great jump from James Scott. But Adam Briggs, Damien Johnstone doing quite well behind. Briggs goes to the outside. Going too wide through turn 1. Scott and Briggs side by side. As we now come up through turn 2 into turn 3. Looks like James Scott's going to single file it out from here. A little bit wide, a bit loose there from Briggsy. Can he hang on to it?
I think it's Damien Johnson actually, John.
Damien, sorry, yep. Done very well there. Hang on. Warboy's already up 3 spots. McNamara in 6th, Baldwin in 7th. Riley Bilson in 8th. Sorry, just dropped back to 9th with Craig Schultz. So definitely a fiery start there. Plenty of action as these boys start to single file.
I noticed Jordan Ross disappeared off the grid. I'm not sure if he's dropped out of the server or not, but he was on the grid and then just vanished off the grid, so that's a shame for Jordan.
Oh, that is a bummer. He is not on track And same thing with Dylan. So I'll get back to the action. So hopefully nothing untoward. In fact, they've both dropped off. I'm not sure whether Dylan is a Gold Coast boy or not. Could be a power outage in the same neighbourhood, so to speak. Will Buchan has crashed and gone back to pits. Let's have a quick look at the Supercheap Auto replay. So we have in the wheel. Car already fairly damaged there by the looks. He's done an engine and towed himself straight back. So he won't get a safety car out of that one, unfortunately. James Scott has a 3/10 lead over Adam Briggs on lap 2 here as we come down the straightaway through 8 and 9. Not quite right. Now heading through turn 7. But Briggs definitely hanging on.
Yeah, Briggs is doing a great job. Brenton Hobson sitting in third at the moment, followed by Damien Johnson, Blake Warboys, Sean McNamara, Brady Baldwin, Craig Schultz, Riley Bilson, Tim Mulford is your top 10 at this stage. Coming up to start lap 3 in a minute.
Yeah, definitely been a good start. Very fast pace, already doing 125.3s. Sorry, 118 now.
Unfortunately for Will Buchan, he's been DQ'd for towing without permission, so cannot tow unless you contact race control.
And Blake Warboys has ran wide on turn 1. Lost a couple of spots there. Putting in an application for Jim's mowing.
Tim Mulford on the radio to race control. Not sure what happened to Tim, but I did hear him on the radio.
I might just have a look at what originally happened to Will Buchan. He's got loose coming out of... Oi! Very loose coming out of the last turn. Riley Bilson, he had an incident as well. That's a good start. Just ran out of room, I think, to get the off track. I'm not sure what's happened to Mulford. But he's in the thick of the battle. Hang on to that, Dave. Coleman getting well out of control there. Like to see what happened. Jump back on the replay. A little bit loose coming over the crest, which I talked about earlier. He's going to hit that wall. That's a bit of damage there to the Coleman mobile. Does he get that going? Yep, looks like he's going to. So plenty of action in the field already, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. We know what it's like coming over that crest. The car gets so light and loose. And yeah, Dave just was a passenger in the end there. Unfortunately, I'm sure he sustained a bit of damage there, but he will get to use his fast repair if he needs to.
He's heading down pit lane using that first compulsory pit stop. Blake Warboys putting a move on Craig Schultz here. Drag race down into 10A. Looks like he's going to tuck in behind Warboys. Visma getting busy in the background there with Riley Bilson. Might just go a bit further back. Blair Van Ree, he's under a fair bit of battle with Robbie Bradbury. Old Pelican getting the hurry up. Barella giving Van Ree the hurry up. And then Visma into the pits as well. And then young Blake Gallen sitting behind those boys. A bit further back. Battles everywhere at the moment, Mark. This is good.
Yeah, they're racing for sheep stations up and down the field at the moment. Tom Freer slowly making his way through. Well, slowly. He's already up 11 spots. He started at rear of grid and he's just sitting outside the top 10 at the moment in 11th spot. And he has got Chris Blanchard right in his sights at the moment, and probably looking to get a move done on Chris as we speak. So Tom.
Oh, yep. You're right. Great move from Tom. Mulford thought he stuck his nose in there as well.
Yeah, good anticipation there from Timmy Mulford to see the door was pried open, and he snuck in there himself. So yeah, well done to Timmy as well. So yeah, Tom Freer already into the top 10, up 12 spots. As we predicted on the starting grid, Tom will make a hard charge through the field.
And doing very well as James Scott just sets a purple time of a 1:18.702. And that is 3/10 faster than Adam Briggs, who's in second spot. So he is flying at the moment.
Briggsy's gone from sitting under James Scott's wing to the lead is out to about 1.3 seconds at the moment. So James just starting to edge away from Briggsy. Good to see Riley Belson from 9.5 Simsport finally get a completed lap under his belt. He's been caught up in some lap 1 incidents since the series started and hasn't actually turned a race lap, I don't think, but good to see him out there, currently sitting in 8th place, just in front of Craig Schultz, his teammate, in 9th.
Yeah, doing very well. Schultz nicely tucked in behind. These boys 2.7 seconds back on that Brady Baldwin Warboys battle. Warboys getting himself back up into 6th now. Warboys past Baldwin. He's got 4.5 seconds to make up to get to McNamara. McNamara in a hefty battle with Damien Johnstone at the moment, who is trying to hunt down Brenton Hobson in front of him. This is a great circuit for the V8s. Get to use those curbs. Car loves to bounce off it. Set yourself up, round the corner, up over this blind crest we always talk about. Car lightens up and goes soft. Need to get all that turning done so you keep control. Sweep it up the hill here. Hard brake, get it around. Don't want to get too much wheel spin. Get the power down, get the acceleration down, tuck up in the draft here. See Hobson now slowly catching. Johnson slowly catching Hobson in front of him. Not quite close enough to make the most of it, coming down into 10A. Thought about it. Tucks in behind again. Up over the hill where we saw Coleman lose control. The car goes light.
Synergy car's looking nicely balanced, especially over all them curbs. Yeah, all the drivers looking well in command of their cars. So clearly, the boys have got a good setup. Robbie Bradbury doing a good job down in P14. He's up a couple of spots. Ash Barella up 7 spots. Troy Stone Street, he's up 5 spots, and Tom Freer up 12 spots. So some decent moves out there at the moment.
Definitely some good driving. As we've seen a couple of guys already cycle through the pits. Dylan Gray's been in, he went in lap 1. Anthony Visma's been in, and so has Dave Coleman and Dylan Rudd. So Dylan probably just trying to get out of that traffic, I would say. Going to jump on board with Craig. Power outage. There we go. Jordan Ross has answered my question. Power outage, and Dylan lives nearby. So that's a bummer. I was looking forward to seeing how those two big names were going to battle it out. Probably better.
Yeah, it's a real shame, John.
Probably better tonight than tomorrow night for those boys.
Dylan has rejoined. He's a few laps down, but he'll be out there trying to get some decent laps in for tomorrow night, before tomorrow night's Pro Series. So Yeah, such a shame for Jordan and Dylan.
Nicely tucked up behind James Scott as well. They're a couple of laps down. Definitely be able to see what sort of pace he's got. And showing the colours too for the 95 Supersports boys. And maybe the power's back on. Jordan Ross might jump in and say good day.
Yeah, no, Dylan always gives a good account of himself. He's a very competitive driver, very clean and fair driver, and yeah, it's just such a shame he didn't get to take the starting grid where he deserved to be.
Yeah, it is a bit disappointing, but good to have him back on track. Might just go back, Sean McNamara. He is under a lot of pressure now from Adam Briggs. YSTK hasn't changed that, but that's all right. That's a weird one.
Oh, that's Damien Johnson. So Damien must have had a moment because he was battling with Brenton Hobson only a few laps ago. So
Right.
he must have had a mistake somewhere, and Sean McNamara's been able to get past, and now he's back under the rear wing of Sean, and probably looking to get a tow up here and try and get a move done down at 10A, 10B.
Nothing's popped up in my system, so not 100% sure. Looking very racy here.
Forgive me, I didn't give Sean enough credit there. It was Sean who actually made the move on Damien on lap 9, I think it was. So, yeah, Sean getting the job done down into 10A, 10B. So, Sean obviously with a good run on lap 9 and was able to pull the move off on Damien Johnson. That's how he ended up in front.
And starting to stretch that out a little bit as well. As we jump in car. Yes, you're correct, Dave Bulldog. I did get lapped by one of the biggest wobblers in Split 3 vets last week. As Macca heads down into 10A. Doesn't sound like he's doing any serious fuel saving.
Sure, he's going to try and latch onto the back of Brenton Hobson before he starts using that clutch too much. So, yeah, if he can just make a couple of more tenths, he get onto that back straight, he'll draw a little bit closer each circuit around and pick up some ground on Brenton Hobson, and then once he gets right in that tow, he'll be able to stick his foot on the clutch where he can and lift and coast and save as much fuel as he can, because as we know, it's easier to make your moves in pit lane than it is on the track.
Definitely around here where you don't have it too many. Dan, we've got another 5, Dan, left. If you're interested in coming and joining us, reach out to me, mate, and I'll hook you up. As we jump back out, want to have a look to see some of the other close battles. Chris Branchard, he is in a great little battle here with Timmy Mulford in front of him. We've got Dave Coleman in the freshly repaired Fishy Motorsports entry behind. Going to go back. Blair Van Ree. Here's the other one. He's in a battle with Robbie Bradbury. And the old Pelican starting to spread its wings a little bit. Open that gap up a little bit from Van Ree, and he's hunting down Dylan Gray in front. So a good little battle here. And we'll go back up to Brady Baldwin. He has Tom Freer on behind now. Tom has caught his way up to the 7th place car.
I reckon Tom might enjoy our Atlanta somehow.
Yeah. I think it's a track that suits his driving style very well. Definitely not scared of an overtake, Tom Freer.
Now we see this regularly from Tom, where he won't set a qualifying lap, start at the rear of the grid and give himself some overtaking practice, and he's become pretty good at it after a few seasons in the East Coast Series. He seems to do it quite regularly, so giving a good account of himself. Brady making some nice space there so Tom could get that move done. I'm sure Brady's thinking he's just going to use Tom to try and get a bit of a tow.
Yeah, a little bit twitchy going into turn 1. All that dirt experience for Brady Baldwin showing off as he nicely kept the car tucked in and under control as it was starting to step out. Of course, these dirt oval guys more used to going sideways than straight. And check in with Sean McNamara. He's got John Stone still tucked up behind him. He hasn't made those big inroads we thought he was going to make on Hobson. That gap's still sitting around about 1.4 seconds. Damien Johnstone nicely tucked up behind. So lap 15 to 68 at the moment. It's going to go back to Blanchard. That battle pack is tightening up as he's side by side with Mulford now. Good exit out of 10B. I don't like that. Blanchard getting the job done on Mulford.
Yeah, nice move then from Chris Blanchard. He was pretty assertive and put his car in a pretty good position where Timmy Mulford really couldn't respond. So very smart driving there from Chris, but he's run a bit wide.
Very loose. That's from Ford sitting on the front split. Oh no! Dylan Gray's in there as well. There's two of them. Wow. Gonna go Supercheap Auto replay for that one.
Yeah, Robbie Bradbury caught up in that as well.
So there's a little bit of a touch there on the back of Blanchard, and that's clipped Bradbury, and it looks like Coleman's had nowhere to go as well. And young Blake Gallen caught up in it as well. Wow, safety car is out, I believe. Just double checking. No, he did jump into it.
No safety car being called as yet as far as I can see, but yeah, quite a few damaged cars out of that. Robbie Bradbury, an innocent party there. His car looks heavily damaged.
I think he has come out of that very bent, crabbing away.
Blair Van Ray, Robbie Bradbury, Dylan Gray and Dave Coleman all with meatball flags. So goes to show you how severe that incident was with Timmy Mulford there.
Just going to go again and look at that one. Just going to jump on with Van Ree. He had nowhere to go. Dylan Gray just come around the back there. That is, yeah, heartbreaking for a few of these boys. And Sean McNamara, he's now under pressure from Damien Johnstone. I think we might have a car stopped on track.
safety car.
Looks like Blair and Ray
Yeah.
is stuck entering pit
pit
lane,
lane.
possibly.
Yep, and I've said the call for the complete scaffold safety car has come out.
What a shame for Blair. He's rolled down that hill and just can't. He's like 50 metres from the pit lane entrance. So that's a real shame.
And of course, the timing of the safety car has allowed Johnstone, Hobson, McNamara, Baldwin, Bilson, Schultz, Blanchard and Barella all to duck in. It's left Freo, Warboys, Briggs and Scott stranded out in front. I've been see they've probably got time to dive in this time.
And so we're lap 17 of 68. So good timing there for a few of the boys to get one of their compulsory pit stops done, but bad timing for a few of the others.
So the safety car is currently sitting just up from pit lane on turn 2. Just waiting. See who he's going to pick up in P1. Scott and Briggs are in. See if they can get out before Warboys comes through. Warboys should be ducking in 2. Tom Freer. Expect him to dive in. Brenton Hobson was the first of the lads that did dive in first. Expect James Scott still on the jacks. I reckon James will probably fill it right up, knowing him. Pretty much a free stop. As he's rolling, Hobson just coming onto the straightaway, so I think he'll get out in time to be our race leader. As he comes up the hill to pick up the complete scaffold safety car. So, of course, if you're on the south coast in the Nowra, Bateman's Bay area and you need scaffolding, make sure you check out the lads at Complete Scaffold at Sales, Hire and Labour for all your scaffolding needs. There's the boys all now tuck in behind the safety car.
Damien Johnson was able to get in front of Sean McNamara there in pit lane. Damien took about a second less fuel than Sean, so that was enough to get him in front. And then Blake Warboys sitting behind Sean McNamara in 6, so that was a welcome safety car for Blake. He's been able to latch back onto this front group. So. And of course has put Tom Freer right in touch with this front group. Tom's up 15 spots at the moment.
Yeah, he's done very well, Tom. You shouldn't be too surprised. So let this race neutralise for the moment.
So interesting, Anthony Visma's made 2 stops already. His second stop was 52 seconds, so I'm not sure if that was all fuel or whether he had some repairs to do, but Anthony Visma has made 2 stops so far.
And the other one who's made 2 stops is Dylan Rudd. He's made 2, which I think the first one would have been that power outage, so he'll have the ability to get one of those laps back now. He's only 3 laps behind, so 3 safety cars, he might be able to make it. Let's see. Good look at the front end of James Scott's car there. Tucked up right behind the safety car. There's the wave around start that, and Visma's the first one to go. It should be one for Dave Coleman and Dylan Rudd as well. I think those two boys have just gone. We'll wait and see. Probably should be going green at the end of this lap, but we'll see what race control do.
Probably not a bad strategy there from Anthony Visma, knowing that he would get the wave around. So looks like he's topped his car right up, and he probably will have to stop for tyres again, I would think, but it should be a pretty short stop, his next one. Fuel burn around here is around 3.1 litres a lap. That's without any fuel saving, 3.15 litres a lap. So we've still got 49 laps to go. So I haven't got the calculator out, but there's still a fair way to go.
Long way. As we continue on, it's like the safety car hasn't pulled away yet. And safety car pulling away. So James Scott will take control of the field once the safety car enters pit lane. Old AMG Mercedes nicely getting its way into the lane. Coleman's gone. Hey, James Scott's gone. Gone well before 10-8. As soon as the call came in, he was off. He's got a big gap ahead of Adam Briggs.
Well, you know, James doesn't do anything the same other than lap times. He varies his safety car restarts regularly. So yeah, great jump from James. Caught everybody napping, and yeah, he's already extended himself out to a bit over a second lead. So that's a great jump.
Yeah, done very well. They opened up that gap already, 1.4 seconds to Adam Briggs. Adam Briggs, Scott Hobson, Johnson, McNamara still behind. A little bit of movement between Bilson. Schultz is in the wall. Got a feeling he might have been tapped by his teammate. Quick on the replay. Bilson here in front of him. A little bit of a... Might have been a little bit of internet issues there. The car was flickering.
Yeah, he disappeared off my screen, so it could have been a case of just reappearing right in front of Riley, and Riley had nowhere to go. But that's definitely not something you want to see
happen. No,
definitely not what. Yeah, you don't want to see that between teammates.
And Tom Free has just had a whoopsie as well, coming down into 10A, 10B, taking the Jim's mowing line through the corner, losing a couple of spots there. Playing smart. It's better just to do that trip across the grass. We've got Mulford in the pits. Dave Coleman's pulled it up as well.
Yeah, not surprised with Dave. He's been caught in a couple of incidents already. Not all of his own doing. So yeah, it's a shame for Dave.
Of course, been a big week for the boys at Fishy Motorsports, with one of their big supporters, Eddie, passing away. So our thoughts are with all the lads at Fishy Motorsports.
Yeah, absolutely. Condolences to all the boys at Fishies and especially Eddie's family. Tough thing to have to go through, but yeah, we wish him all the best.
Whereas James Scott sets another purple sector lap with a 1:18.501. Some good little battles. Dylan Gray, our Super 2 championship leader, tucked right up behind the man in second place, Robbie Bradbury. Riley Bilson involved in something as well. In here, Dylan Gray. These boys have got to learn. Jim's mowing's not fast. Let's just check what happened to Riley Bilson. I think he's done the same thing. These boys all driving on the limit here and beyond.
Yeah, I doubt that there's been a driver in this field that hasn't done that at turn one, to be honest. It happens regularly.
Yeah, plenty of runoff. Tom Freas picked up another spot again on his recovery here. He's got himself up to 7th, up 15 spots. Damien Johnstone, he's under a lot of pressure from McNamara. Of course, War Boys just sitting behind these lads as well. And Blanchard and Barella and Bilson. Bilson just getting past Blanchard there. So a few battles everywhere at the moment. Try and keep abreast of most of them. This is the main one here in the top 10. This is the Hobson, Johnston, McNamara War Boys battle. Eight War Boys in the box seat to watch this one. Of course, Adam Briggs up the head of the train. You'd be seeing these boys fighting in the rear mirror going, keep going, lads. Opening up the breathing space. Ooh, Macca shows his nose. A bit of a look down the hill. War Boys stays tucked in. As we start lap 24. Only a third of the way through this race at the moment. Turn 5.
Yeah, all these boys relying on the car in front to make sure he's got the correct line through the S's going up the hill there, because it's completely blind, and when you're tucked right underneath another car, you're really just following lines, so you're really relying on the driver in front to get things right.
Definitely. As we jump into the cockpit here with War Boys. This is the helmet cam. Eyes forward. Right up to the rev limiter in 6th gear, coming down the back straightaway. See the blind crest, you got to come over here, how hard it is. Get that power down. Feel your way through the final corner. Back onto the start finish line. Into turn 1, another corner where you got to feel it. It's got a soft apex going in, then tightens. Up over the hill into another blind spot, into turn 3. Get the apex right, as Mark was saying. Coming down through the S's now, you're pretty much blind, tucked up behind the car. On the curb, onto the curb, onto the curb. In through 5. Get the power down, feel it over the crest here. Hear the engine revs change as you go over. Dive it in, use the camber of the turn here through 6. Heavy braking now. Tyre smoke in front doesn't make it any easier. Get the power down. Don't want to get too much wheel spin. Don't want to heat these tyres up. As we tuck in, a little bit of drafting, a bit of movement going on up front. Four Boys decides to stay in line. No one gets overtaken yet.
Damien Johnson got in front of
Sorry, yeah, oh, yep, sorry. Yep. It's just... So, of course, Macca now would be lining Hobbo up.
Damien got a great exit out of turn 6, 7 there, and yeah, he was able to just get a good run on Hobson up the back straight, because Hobson had just started to creep out of the toe of Adam Briggs in front, and that's what this battle's doing. It's allowing Briggsy to just escape in front of these boys, and they're just starting to drop out of the toe zone. So Damien Johnson will be looking to try and peg back Briggsy as quick as he can, so they can all get line astern again.
Yep, definitely tough going out there. He's going to jump on with Dylan Gray. He's fighting his way back from that little bit of an off. He's got Bradbury back in front of him. So this championship really turning into quite the battle for the Super 2 boys.
Yeah, the one thing impressive about Robbie Bradbury for me is just his consistency. He drives within himself, doesn't make many mistakes. He knows what his limits are. He races very, very smart, and he's putting together a great championship. And it was unfortunate to see him get caught up in that incident with Timmy Mulford, which really had nothing to do with Robbie.
Yeah, very unlucky. Let's just jump into this next battle pack here with Blanchard. Got Barella behind him, trying to chase Bilson and Baldwin down in front. So this is a battle for the top, outside the top 10. And then, of course, we go back to that battle for the third. Damien Johnstone just managing now to hang on to that space in front of Hobson. Hobson not quite capturing Johnstone, but you can see the three behind all within that nose to tail. Good run there from Hobson, made up 2/10 through the last two corners.
Because the key for all these boys is that exit out of turn 7. You get a good exit out of there, and you can almost be assured that you'll hold your place into 10A, 10B. But you get that exit wrong on turn 7, makes you extremely vulnerable.
And of course, it's a track where you don't really want to be vulnerable. These guys are having a ripping battle for this stage of the race. Still pretty much got 40 laps to go. One stop. And just going to keep a little bit of an eye back through the pack a little bit still. Still a couple of other little fights going on. Just going to drop back to Blanchard. Riley Bilson stuck into the pit lane for his second stop. So he's stopping early, which is interesting. Blanchard still being chased down by Barella. Good to see Ash back racing tonight. Doing quite well. Craig Schultz, he in the compact version, he's chasing a Pelican.
Yeah, like you said, John, great to have Ash back. He's doing a great job out there as well. He's up 10 spots, so one of the biggest movers of the night.
They're doing very well as Craig Schultz here trying to get his way past Robbie Bradbury. So the race sort of starting to settle into some rhythm at the moment. Here comes Schultz, Tom Freer. That's a little off, it keeps going. And pulls out to make the move. Can he get it done? Schultzy deep under brakes. Bradbury going to fight this one for it. Oh, he pulls out at the last second. Smart move. Some big commitment there.
Great awareness there from Robbie to give Craig some space. I think Craig was still in two minds even as he pulled the move off by the look of that one.
Yeah, it was brave. Let's jump back up with this battle pack. As see the gap to Briggs is only 2 seconds now, 2.1. And the gap to James Scott out front is 3.7.
Troy Stonestreet doing a great job as well in P15. He's up 8 spots. First race in the East Coast Series tonight, and yeah, giving a great account of himself.
Yep, doing really well. Hanging on to the lap traffic in front of him. Of course, young Blair is 2 laps behind. Caught up in one of the early incident where he blew his motor going into pit lane, which brought out the first safety car.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Blair copped all that damage after that incident involving Tim Mulford, Robbie Bradbury, Dylan Gray, and Dave Coleman. So a pretty big incident. All of them ended up with meatballs, and I think Blair ended up blowing his motor before he could make it back his way back into the lane.
Yep, it's still with us. And Troy, yep, doing really well. As War Boys closes the gap a little bit to McNamara. It's still this nose to tail group of 4.
Yeah, these boys aren't making any ground on Adam Briggs in P2 at the moment. Briggsy was about a 1/10.5 quicker than Damien Johnson on that previous lap, so Briggsy doing everything he needs to do to stay in control of P2, and yeah, P3 seems to be where the battle is at the moment for that final podium spot. We've got 4 cars line astern.
And Tom Freer has had a bit of an incident. I think he's just about got himself sorted again. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to Tom. He's coming down into the final corner. He's missed the apex. Sorry, turn 1, missed the apex out into the tyre wall. That's a bit disappointing. And does the Jim mowing get back on track? Hopefully not too much damage to the car from that. See a bit of a scuff there on the rear. Let's jump back on with McNamara. And McNamara now under a lot of pressure from War Boys. let's see. Heading up now. Thinking about their next fuel stops. We find Warboy's saving a little bit of fuel at this stage.
Even with a bit of fuel saving, he was still the second quickest car on track that last time around. Only car quicker than him was James Scott. So bloke doing an excellent job out there, and like we said, good to have him back in the series with us after a few weeks away.
Yep, doing very well. Visma putting a move on Barella. Side by side. Looks like Visma's got the job done now. Barella's going to tuck in behind here.
I think that was Chris Blanchard actually. He's got Barella just in
sorry,
front of him. So he's in a WK&P sandwich at the moment. But yeah, Anthony's doing a pretty good job. He's made 2 pit stops. He's made his way back up into the top 10 sitting in P9. So doing a good job at the moment.
Doing very well. Here's the Accelerate Sim Racing entry. Being coached by Greg Favell.
Apparently it's a case of if only he'd listened to Greg.
I would not be surprised. Of course, Anthony also does a bit of race control in the vet series as well. Good to see him out on track.
Yeah, those boys have a lot of fun racing, and yeah, they're a lot of fun to have a chat with. So yeah, Anthony's doing a great job, and hopefully he can keep going for the next 34 laps.
It's just past the halfway mark. I reckon these 4 drivers would be feeling it about now already.
That was the first lap for a while where Damien Johnson was a fraction quicker than Adam Briggs in front, so it's only a few hundredths in it, but it's the first one for about 8 laps that Damien Johnson has been a bit quicker, so just keep an eye on that. Wonder if Briggs' tyres are going off or whether it's just not one of Briggs' better laps.
Yeah, definitely did keep an eye on it. Can't say traffic's been involved or anything, so it's definitely outright pace. This train is coming. Of course, Road Atlanta, one of the good slipstream circuits in the V8 calendar. See Hobson tucked right up behind him.
Yeah, he's applying all sorts of pressure to Damien Johnson. Damien getting a little bit loose out of a couple of these corners, and Hobbo will be looking to pounce if he can.
Get the feeling it's not far away. So these boys will be starting to think about pit stops in the next 10 laps. You try and undercut. Or do you just stay with the group knowing you've got the pace of the tow? Of course, if you do.
I'm sure all the boys behind Damien Johnson are fuel saving like crazy. So I think that's where we're going to see the moves made, is in pit lane.
I was about to say, this is a tough track. If you lose that toe, and you need to make sure you get yourself out into a gap, and there's that off chance you might put yourself back. And there is a big battle pack for 8th, 9th and 10th at the moment. It's just jump on with Dylan Gray. Tucked right up behind Craig Schultz. So that's a battle there.
And Visma's been able to get past Ash Barella as well, so
Yep.
Visma's moved up into P8, Ash Barella P9, Chris Blanchard P10, so nice work there from Anthony Visma, but yeah, Ash is still doing an outstanding job. He's up 11 spots, so great effort there from Ash.
Doing very well. Just going to jump back up on Damien Johnstone. Hobson now right up behind. Has a bit of a look. Pulls out of the draft. Is he going to get it done into 10A? He does. Nicely done by Mr. Hobson. Of course, with the slipstream, he probably won't have the legs to pull away from behind. Warboys goes a touch wide, loses a little bit. McNamara now having a bit of a look at Johnstone. Maybe those tyres are starting to be cooked. This track is tough on the machine and the person as well.
Yeah, a lot of lateral load up through this part of the circuit, as you know, John, and yeah, the tyres do cop a pounding around here, and we saw the previous lap, Damien Johnson a little bit loose through 3, 4, 5, 6, so no surprises that Hobbo's been able to stretch his legs a little bit.
A little bit slow for Hobson coming out, but he's got the legs now. I think Johnson's concerned from behind. He's gone to the inside line. McNamara going the outside into 10A. Warboy's going to get involved in this as well. No, he backs out. This is going to be interesting. Too wide. Gets a job done. Warboy slips through the old over and under. Poor old Damien,
Yeah, I think
2 for 1 job.
Yeah, I think Damien probably tried to defend too hard there and would have been better off just tucking in behind Sean Mack. But yeah, he left himself exposed a little bit to Blake Warbies, and Blake didn't need a second invitation and hopped on through there. I think with Damien, we're just seeing his tyres overheat a fraction, and then once they overheat, they are so hard to recover, especially around here, because the only place you really get to drive in a straight line is up that back straight.
Which of course is 2 corners. Yeah, it is tough. Like I said before, it's tough on the car. All they can do now is try and tuck into that slipstream and go with them. I hope he's got enough of fuel. Dylan Gray's the first one to blink. He's heading himself down pit lane. Moves Stone Street up into 13th, up 10 spots. He's going to check Blanchard. Still tucked up behind Barella. Craig Schultz starting to close that gap down a little bit now. That gap's down to 1.5. And Riley Bilson, he's having a little bit of fun here with Blake Gallen. Oh, Riley, no! Into the tyre wall and lost his bonnet. That was interesting, that. That was a good little battle there for a second. Going to get the car going.
Is this one of them magnets?
Yeah. Got the car going. Car's off the tyres. I think he's called for a safety car.
I've had a crash. Can I please tow?
And it's waiting the seats in a precarious position, of course, out of turn 5.
Please hold. Safety car, safety car, safety car will be back.
And there you've heard it. Safety car is back out again. So this will be very interesting. A lot of these boys have not made 2 stops. So they'll all be diving into the pits, I would imagine. Stone Street's in, Mulford's in, Blake Gallen is in, James Scott has ducked in, Briggsy, Hobbo, they're all filing in. McNamara, Warboys, change cameras, Warboys is in. Damien Johnstone, Brady Baldwin. He's the next man on track.
This will give Dylan Rudd the opportunity to get another lap back. He won't pit, I don't think. He'll try and get one lap now and then possibly get another one once he gets past the safety car. So we could see Dylan Rudd back on the lead lap here.
That'll make it interesting. Barella's in. I think everyone is literally into the pits. Probably Bradbury. He's going to keep going. But James Scott back out on track. And he will be looking for the safety car. So the complete scaffold safety car picks up our race leader. Riley Belson, a little bit unlucky because this if no, he's the safety car, it would have put him back on the lead lap as well. So anyway, we tucked in behind now. We'll see what comes of this one once we get some wave arounds. Most of these cars picked up the safety car. Warboy's the big winner. He's got himself into P3. So he's managed to jump Hobson, McNamara and John Stone. Of course, lap 41 of 68. Let's have a bit of a quick look at the pit strategy window. Not quite showing the last stops.
Dylan Rudd's been able to get one lap back while the safety car was on track and all the other cars were in the pit. You know, he's managed to come around and pit. He should get back on the end of the train and then get a wave around. So we should see him back on the lead lap, I think.
That'll be good going if he does. Just shows the old tenacity of never giving up.
Yeah, you never know. This place is well renowned for safety cars. It's rare you don't get one here.
One what go by, just waiting to see if there's any others. May not have been on the train, that's the only question. I'm not sure exactly where is Riley. He's gone into pit lane. He's made the most of getting a chance to have a pit stop. Let's jump on with Richard Barella again in the safety car.
Bye, right.
I think you got a wave around, Mo.
Yeah, he's got a, so yeah, Blair's got a wave around, Dylan Rudd's got a wave around, and Blake Gallen's got a wave around. So Blake and Dylan will get back on the lead lap. I think Blair will still be one lap down.
Yep. too bad a work.
But as you should, yeah, as you said, John, tenacity. You never give up. You never know how things will unfold, and now we've got Dylan back on the lead lap, and I'm sure he's going to be fired up to try and get a result for himself.
Now, we see what he can do. Of course, we remember doing a NASCAR race once where I think I was something like 6 laps down and managed to get back on the lead lap and finish in the top 10.
Because Dylan's had to pedal pretty hard to make the back of the train, and if James Scott goes early, I know Dylan should just be able to tag on the back, I think.
Richie's in, so just so you reckon James will go the long way this time. He's off. Green flag, we're away. So the group gets through. Dylan Ruddy's on the back of the train. Blake Gallen didn't quite make it, but that's okay. As we just double back. This jump that we've seen here, but we go back to that other battle. Briggs now has Warboys tucked up behind. And of course, we have Hobson, McNamara and Johnstone tucked up behind him. So let's see how he goes here. There's Hobson. Has a look up the inside of Warboys. Sorry, outside of Warboys. Warboys defends. Manages to hold him off through 10A, 10B. Oh, a bit wide there from McNamara. That could have ended in tears. Manages to get back on the track.
So many cars do that and end up spearing straight back across the opposite side of the track and into the wall on the outside of pit lane there. So
Yep.
yeah, a little bit lucky there from Sean. Good car control in the end.
Car's very twitchy there in the S's. May have overheated his tyres. Needs to get that composure back. Damien Johnstone, Baldwin. Bit of a battle a bit further back with Visma. Visma and Schultz side by side, coming through 6 into 7. Gives him enough room. Dylan Gray having a bit of a look at this battle as well.
Very hard for Anthony to get the power down properly there with such a shallow exit. Entry, I mean.
Dylan Gray literally bump drafting Schultz down the straight there. Ray backs out of it. Schultz tries to hold into 10A, side by side. Visma doesn't back down. Still too wide out of 10B. Over the crest, 3 wide. Oh, that could have ended in tears. Tucked back into single file. More or less. Oh, Schultz is off. Comes back on. Still too wide. What a battle. This is only lap 45, boys. Still too wide. And we're back into single file. And of course we've got Dylan Gray, Tim Mulford, Dylan Rudd at the back of this group as well, trying to fight his way through.
Almost like nobody wanted P10 then. They were all determined to give it to somebody else. But anyway, Anthony Visma's prevailed there and he's in P10 and he's got Chris Blanchard just in front of him and Ash Barella, which them three have had a pretty much race-long battle. So interesting to see if Anthony can latch back onto the back of these boys.
Yeah, definitely some good battles there. Troy Stone Street's just tucked in behind these lads as well. It's been some good drives across the group. As here comes Dylan Gray.
What about that move
Dylan
from
Rudd?
Dylan Rudd? Yeah, like
Wrong
two
Dylan.
positions there. So he's gone from nowhere, and he's only a couple of spots outside the top 10 now.
Jump up, Hobson under a lot of pressure from Sean McNamara.
Visma with that big lock up into turn 1. He's lost that P10.
He's got a hard charging Dylan Rudd right behind him now as well. Dylan will be wanting that P10. You can see Schultz, his teammate in front of Visma. He's going to stay with this group for a little bit longer, I think. Has a look there, shows his nose. He's looking for a good exit. Oh, goes the dive. Not quite there. I thought he would have been patient to try and get the good exit. That's allowed Dylan Rudd to have Dylan Gray tucked up behind him now. What can Rudd do here? Mulford hanging on to the back of this group.
I'm sure Dylan Rudd's cursing himself there for not, like you said, John, being a little bit more patient.
Has a big lunge again. Nicely hangs onto it. Those brakes on that 9.5 car must be massive.
Yeah, 2 laps in a row we've seen him there at 10B make a very, very decisive move, and made it look pretty easy in the end. Pretty acute angles there, but Dylan doing a great job.
Definitely doing good stuff as he starts to hunt down Schultz in front. Just going to jump up the front, check on Brenton Hobson. Still got Sean Mack tucked right up behind him. These guys here, all within close proximity. Adam Briggs has Warboys 2/10 behind him. This is a battle for second and third. James Scott's 2 seconds up the road, as we just saw. Tucked up behind Warboys, we've got Brenton Hobson, Sean McNamara, Damien Johnstone, and then we drop 2 seconds back to Baldwin, 5 seconds back to Barella, who has Blanchard tucked up behind him with Schultz, Rudd, Visma, Ray and Mulford. So some good battles everywhere. We'll try and keep abreast of most of them. Jump back here, see how Dylan Rudd's getting on as he's behind this battle here. Schultz looking very much the meat in the sandwich at the moment. Looking for a bit of help from his teammate. Blanchard getting a lot of pressure as well.
Little tap of the brakes there from Craig Schultz, letting Dylan know he's free to come through. So good teamwork there. Now we're going to probably see Dylan try and execute that move into 10A, 10B once again.
Tucks right up behind Blanchard. That gap closing is 0.27. May not be close enough this time by. And Tucks right up behind. See Blanchard in a battle with Barella in front. We're going to go turn 1.
Barella's just disappeared off screen as well. He's back now. He did blinked a couple of times. Hope his internet connection holds up.
And he's gone, I think. No, he's back. Let's see how he's going. No. Not sure what his rate is there, but I probably expect him to drop out anytime soon. Hopefully he doesn't interrupt Dylan along the way.
Very, very off-putting when that's happening.
Yep, right on the radio to race control.
I think he's gone. Oh no, he's still there. He just
Yeah.
he was gone the whole length of the straight there. I'm surprised he
Yeah.
hasn't dropped out.
Right, Ruddy's through. And he's going to jump back up, check out that Hobson battle. And Briggs under a lot of pressure from War Boys still. Lap 50 of 68. Of course, these boys in this group here will be back again tomorrow night for the Logitech G Supercar Pro Series, round 10, the finale. We'll find out tomorrow night who will be crowned the champion. The man sitting second in the championship is the man leading this race at the moment.
Looks like Ash's connection stabilised now, finally. It was quite high there. The ping was quite high for a while, but now it's back down where everybody else is in, which is great news for Ash because he's had a stellar drive tonight. He's up 11 spots.
Yeah, sitting in ninth. Would have been sad to see him drive. We're going to check on Timmy Mulford. He's in a good little battle here with Dylan Gray. A couple of our Super 2 boys. And a stellar drive, these guys. And speaking stellar drives, Troy Stone Street tucked up behind Robbie Bradbury as well. And just going to go back up on this front group. All of them probably doing a little bit of car preservation at the moment. And Adam Briggs looking very composed, not driving defensive lines.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be a little bit more comfortable with the gap he had prior to that last safety car where he had a bit over a couple of seconds to these boys, but now he's in a real battle and yeah, there's no guarantee for any spots on the podium at this stage. We've still got 16 laps to go, 16 and a half laps to go. James Scott skipped out to a 3.5 second lead, but second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth are pretty much line astern, and it's anybody's race to get on the podium from here.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. There's Damien Johnstone. I think I'll jump on Navis for a minute. He's side by side with Schultz. He's going to get through. Leaves Visma now to have another crack at Blanchard and Barella. Timmy Mulford is tucked up right behind Dylan Gray. These Super 2 boys are having a cracking battle. Oh, Mulford goes left, goes right. Nicely blocked off by Gray. Jump back up that front group.
Yeah, the racing in the mid-pack towards the rear is just as tough as it is up front at the moment.
Yeah, definitely some good stuff going on right through the field. It's just trying to keep abreast of both of them. Lev and Ree into the pits.
Sure, Dylan Rudd would love just one more safety car.
Make it very interesting. If we've got one more. These 5 cars, nose to tail. McNamara and Johnstone working very hard to hang on to the back of Hobson.
Yeah, I think all these boys are working overtime at the moment. It's a pretty physical track, and it's been a pretty long race so far. We're on lap 54 of 68, so I've only got 14 to go. The laps have ticked down pretty quickly in this last third of the race, but yeah, it's still anybody's podium at the moment. James Scott looking pretty comfortable out front, but we have seen James get caught up. I think last time we actually raced here, James got caught up in someone else's accident on between turn 1 and 2. I think it might have been Timmy Mulford actually. It went off track and was just on the edge of the track, and James had nowhere to go. So anything can happen around this place.
Yeah, it's Blanchard at turn 3.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
So you're younger than me, John. You've got a better memory.
I just remember Blanchard's reaction after the race with it. Very apologetic. As Hobson still hanging on to the back of Wallboys here. Wouldn't rule him out getting his foot on the podium. Of course, these boys having a good solid hit out for tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if anybody is in danger of running short on fuel, but we've got 13 laps to go. Blake was the shortest pitter out of these 5, so I'm hoping Blake has got enough fuel to get to the end.
Very interesting. See Briggs starting to cover a little bit there.
Yeah, Briggsy was looking super comfortable when he had that gap, but he's been under relentless pressure since the restart pretty much of the last safety car, so he's not having it all his own way at the moment, but he's still doing a great job out there in P2. Hasn't done anything wrong at all tonight. He's driven a very, very good race, so be a shame to see anything go wrong from here, but like I said, anything can happen around this place.
Most definitely, and Hobson's still under a lot of pressure from McNamara behind as well. These 4 cars having an absolute ding-dong battle. 5 cars, sorry, having a ding-dong battle. Then we've got another group further back of 6 cars that are right in the thick of it as well. It's from 9th all the way back to 14th.
Dylan Rudd is starting to close in on Brady Baldwin pretty quickly as well, so that's one hell of a comeback from Dylan Rudd tonight.
Yeah, he's very impressive drive. Just trying to keep an eye on all those battles. Try and keep you guys abreast of where the moves are going to be.
Anthony Visma's been able to get past Ash Barella, and he's now got his sights set on Chris Blanchard. So Visma in 10th, Blanchard in 9th. and Craig Schultz is just behind Asperella. So these guys are having a ding-dong battle as well. This has been going almost race long as well. These guys have just been putting moves on each other from lap 1.
Yeah, been some very impressive racing all evening. Having these two battle packs making it really, really exciting for us to watch.
Of course, Dylan Gray's been able to tag on the back of this as well. So, yeah, this one's not going to be settled till lap 68 either.
Of course, Dylan Gray in a great battle with Mulford and Bradbury for the championship. And they're not too far behind him either. There's Briggs, Warboys side by side down the back straight away. Warboys will have the inside line going into 10A. It's on the brakes, pulls it up, job done. Briggs now tucks in behind. Hobson tucks in behind. Still nose to tail stuff. Don't rule out McNamara. Don't rule out Johnstone. 58 of 68 now.
Briggs, you've got to stay composed here. He can't be rattled by losing that spot to Warboys. He's really just got to stay composed and refocus and see if he can pick that spot back up, because he's got Brenton Hobson right behind him, and we know how tenacious Hobbo is. He's just one of them drivers that just doesn't let go. He's like a dog with a bone. So this is going to be a pretty tense final 10 laps.
Definitely, we can see this train of 5 cars. They are nose to tail. Don't rule out. Briggs coming back at Warboys here. That gap closing ever so slightly. Well, Briggs has got to be worried about Hobson behind as well. McNamara having a bit of a look. Pulls it back inside and then straight into the line again. These guys have got to be millimetre perfect for the remainder of this race. James Scott's got himself 6.6 seconds out in front of these boys. He's going to be quite comfortable up there, but Warboys, he won't be comfortable in P2. And you can see Briggs right up behind Warboys. They tucked up behind. See the movement of the springs in the car. Got all that traffic in front coming up too. That's very close, right under. Sure, Blair will be aware that this train is coming. You can see him pull off there to the left. And Briggs having a look down the inside this time. Briggs comes back and takes P2 back off Warboys. Warboys stays P3. Great move from Briggsy.
Briggsy be looking to try to give himself just a fraction of breathing space here, because we know how tough it is on that back straight to gain any momentum when you got all these cars in tow behind you. So Briggsy looking to try and capitalise on that move and give himself some breathing space.
He's managed to get it out for second, but he's got to hang on to that, and that's where it gets difficult.
Timmy Mulford on race radio, calling for race control to look at something.
Timmy Mulford, may have been something with Craig Schultz. We might just have a quick look. Just see if there's anything in there with Schultz. He's side by side, a bit of a tap. This is into turn 1. Yeah, that'll be interesting. say the least. Let's go back to live picks.
Dylan Rudd's been able to make his way past Brady Baldwin, so Dylan moves into P7 after being off the grid at the start of the race, and 3 laps down he's been able to make his way back to P7, so that's real determined driving there from Dylan.
Yeah, only 10 seconds behind this battle in front of us. There's War Boys tucked right up behind Briggs again now. So both of them have shown the cards. I think everybody knows they're going to go turn 10A. It'll be the spot people look to make a move. Hobson now right up behind War Boys. He's closed that gap down to under 0.2 of a second. Can Hobson make a move this time? Let's see. No, War Boys covers him. Hobson goes to the outside. Then we switch back. Hobson's going to get through here. Yes, no, too wide through 11. Too wide. No, Hobson gets his way through as they go through the final corner. War Boys now could be under trouble from McNamara. McNamara tucks in behind. And that has given that breathing space. It's now 0.8 of a second to Briggs. War Boys shuffles from second back to fourth.
Yeah, good example there of how delicate you've got to be coming over the crest of that hill on the throttle and getting the power back down, and Brenton Hobson was able to capitalise there. And yeah, like you said, War Boys now under pressure from McNamara. And yes, folks at home, James Scott is in this race somewhere. We haven't focused on James too much, but he's driven his usual excellent race. He's got a 9-second lead at the moment, but this is where all the action is. P2, 3, 4, 5 and 6.
Yeah, definitely not done on one. The rest of the podium. Sean McNamara looking very busy behind War Boys. War Boys now close that gap down to Hobson. Not usually too many opportunities to get the passing done around this place. Takes a little bit too much curve, a little bit loose. War Boys with the run. He's not going to have the room to get in, no. A little bit loose from Hobson. War Boys needs a great exit out of here. A little bit pinched, a little bit wide. Does War Boys get the drive?
Hobbo with a little bit of a lock-up coming into turn 7 there, and I think War Boys is going to have him here.
Bit of lap traffic on the circuit as well. Oh, a bit of a slight touch. What happens down into here? War Boys is going to be through. Just. Looks like Macaron Hobson. Side by side. I've seriously got to fix that camera up. And, oh, Hobbo, Macca. Macca's going to hang on into turn 1. This has brought Johnstone into that battle around them. Briggs is gone. He's out to 1.2. War Boys is out to 1.2 as well.
Yeah, Briggs is saying, thank you, boys. That's exactly what I needed. We've only got 4.5 laps remaining now, and James Scott, Adam Briggs, Blake, War Boys your podium at the moment. Let's see if Sean McNamara can close his gap down to Blake War Boys in front of him.
Definitely going to be interesting to see if he can close it down. Johnstone, he's probably the man we're going to probably say we're looking to try and get a move on Hobson. But McNamara, you can see War Boys has cleared out enough to be out of that slipstream. Keep an eye on the gap between Warboys and Briggs as we're now into that range of pure pace matters. Not getting the help of the toe.
We did see on that previous lap, Brendan Hobson made one slight mistake, put him off for turn 6, and then he pinched the brake going into turn 7, then he ended up losing 2 spots by the start of the next lap. So it just goes to show you one slight mistake around here and it really punishes you.
Of course, 65 or 68, a little bit of fatigue probably kicking in as well for Hobson. There's the other battle settling out a bit now as well. Dylan Gray's got himself in front of Bradbury and Schultz. Stone Street's up into 15th, up 8 spots. And these guys here starting to settle themselves down a bit as well. Just going to check in on James Scott. Yes, he is still here. 10 seconds out in front. Using this as a good test session for tomorrow night. See, James has got that car hooked up really well. And not too much traffic in front to deal with.
Just having a quick look at James's lap times there, and pretty scary stuff. How consistent he is.
He just rattles them off, doesn't he?
Yeah, when you're within a tenth or tenth and a half every lap, it just goes to show you're really on top of your game. There's really no fluctuation in his lap times.
And McNamara starting to close down Warboys a little bit here. Gap now down to 0.6, so he's halved it. Warboys still 1.2 behind Briggs, so Warboys providing a little bit of a tow for the lads behind. But whether there's enough laps to make it with 2 laps to go, I don't think so. Of course, big shout out to the boys in race control. Reg James, our chief race steward, away this evening at Motley Crue concert in Melbourne. Leaving the duties over to Dave and Josh.
Damien Johnson with a bit of a mistake there on the exit of turn 5, so that's dropped him off the back of this battle pack now, and almost looking settled now, the podium. Only got 1 lap to go. Hobson and McNamara are probably the closest on track at the moment. I think Blake's looking fairly safe, as long as there's no mistakes. I think we'll probably have our podium finally sorted. It took us 62 laps to get there, or 64 laps to get there, but yeah, there was some great racing tonight.
Yeah, been absolutely good stuff to watch, Mark.
Just as I say that, Sean McNamara is all over the back of Blake Warboy, so we might not be done yet.
And Hobson's still there.
Hobbo's all over the back of Sean McNamara, so
we're definitely stay with this group. Keep an eye on where James is, but we'll do the right thing. He's down the back straight.
It's all about the exit of turn 7 now.
As gonna jump on with Mr. Scott as he comes down the hill, comes through the final corner, take the checkered flag. Congratulations, James. Going to bounce back to Briggsy. McNamara going down the hill, a little bit loose. Hobson's gotten through. But Briggs will be second, followed by Warboys. Great drive, that's our podium. Macca will finish in 4th. Brenton Hobson tucks home in 5th with Damien Johnstone. 0.03 between those two. Brady Baldwin going to manage to stay in front of Dylan Rudd, who I think he's out of fuel. He's rolling down the hill.
Oh, bad luck for Dylan. It was still a great recovery.
Very good recovery. And is he going to get across? Where is Visma?
Yeah, no, he's across the line now.
Yeah, he's Visma. Ash Barella up 10 spots in the top 10. What a great comeback drive from Barella. Blanchard in 11th. Great to see Blanchard back. Dylan Rudd comes across the line in 11th, sorry. Up 6 spots. Craig Schultz was 13th. Robbie Bradbury 14th. Troy Stone Street in his first outing in the series, 15th. Great drive for him. And then we had Gallen, Van Ree, Mulford, Bilson, Freer rounding out our podium. Sorry, rounding out our stuff. So, yeah, it will be quite good in that sense.
Yeah, sure. Brenton Hobson had a big dive there on the last lap and made a little bit of contact with Sean McNamara. Did the right thing and gave the spot back and managed to finish 5th. Sean in 4th. So yeah, it was great racing tonight. Only one that probably didn't see too much action was James Scott.
Of course, he done.
And Jordan Ross.
Yeah, James did very well. Jordan Ross, of course, didn't make the start due to a power outage. A little bit unlucky from the man, the myth, the legend. And I'm sure he's too happy about it. It was great, though, to see Dylan Rudd come back from the same power outage and fought his way back into the top 10 after being 3 laps down. Did some very good work under the safety car to get himself back into that situation. Definitely a good result for Warboys. Hasn't been with us for a while, and Briggs as well. Great to have Macca back in the car, up in fourth. Those boys all putting on a sensational show. We just wait for some guys to drop into the green room to have a chat to.
Yeah, great to see Blake back with us. He's up 5 spots and managed to finish in P3 on the podium. So that's a great drive from Blake. Yeah, good to have Sean Mack back with us as well. He drove a exceptional race as well, finishing 4th. I've got to say, Adam Briggs, Blake Warber, Sean McNamara, Brenton Hobson, Damien Johnson, they turned it on for us the whole race. It was pretty much from lap 1, they were at each other all the way through to lap 68. So it was very entertaining.
Yeah, extremely entertaining. And not sure where Briggs is, but we'll start having a chat to the man who won the race again. James, well done, mate. We'll try Blake instead. Blake, you there, mate?
Hello.
How are you, Blake?
Hot and sweaty.
Thought you would be. That was a sensational drive between the 4 ears there.
Yeah, that was good fun. I was on the major fuel save. I underfueled it by quite a bit. So that last stint, I was really saving fuel. But yeah, it was great fun. So first race back to have a race like that in a podium is pretty bloody good.
Yeah, no, it was very entertaining between all 3 of you, or 4 of us actually. Like Briggsy was home and hose before the safety car had him. You probably thought you were okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, look, safety cars happen, and you just got to deal with the cards that happen. And yeah, no, it was good fun, and yeah, pretty good to see. I think all three or four SSR cars at the front were running slight variations on sets, so we'll go away and look at that now and try and make a mega doc. So yeah, anyway, we'll press on. So
These boys definitely getting plenty of data, plenty of experience for tomorrow night. And if tomorrow night's racing's anything like this, I think everyone's in for a treat. And of course, the man who was way out in front, probably used it just as a test session, was Mr. James Scott. Well done, James. Another sensational drive.
Thanks, mate. Yep. Haven't had much time to practice really this week, so or in the lead up to tomorrow night. So yeah, good to get some laps under the belt. Car felt pretty decent, so it was just a bit tricky to drive, but I think it was pretty quick. So yeah, we'll tune her up and go again tomorrow.
Saying your times are pretty consistent. It looks pretty consistent to us. I don't know where this tricky to drive bit comes from.
Yeah, no, it was pretty consistent. I don't know, it was just felt like it was always right on the edge. I did a couple of laps, like was like 10th and a half, 2/10 off my previous lap, which need to try and tune up. So yeah, no, overall it wasn't too bad.
That's right.
Isn't that what Roadlander's all about? Feels like you're on the edge all the time around here.
Yeah, I actually really like this track. Pretty unique. But yeah, no, it's really I've loved it ever since I've sort of been on the Sims. So it's good to go there. It's just a bit annoying. The draft model's so powerful around here. With the headwind, it was just amplified tonight. So yeah, but other than that, no, it's a good track.
Yeah, look, I think if these guys are giving any indication, I think we're in for an absolute classic tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, it's probably one of the tracks, just like I don't know Monza and all these other ones. Like it's really hard to get a gap to the guy behind. So it's probably good to watch. Not so great in the seat, but yeah, that's what we got to deal with.
And anyone you want to give a shout out to, James?
Yep, all the guys at SSR, Watercraft Performance Centre, Parramatta, Isuzu Ute, Too Easy Finance, Dr. Epoxy, Works Racing Components, you guys for the broadcast, Ryco Performance as well. Couldn't do it without those guys. And if you're in need of a setup, head over there and can grab a setup off there and look at some data. And yeah, the series admin and race control guys as well.
Too easy. And saved you the SSR one tonight, Adam. Did it last week. And Blake, you want to give a shout out for WK&P, mate?
Yeah, WK&P Sim Sports. We had a good bunch of guys in tonight, so it was good to see us all having another crack. Wodonga Carts and Parts, Supercheap Auto, Rebel Sports, BCF, Mac Pack, All Guys Adelaide, Barella Cabinets, Bay 21 Coffee Beans, LGC Images, and Dave 37 Racing for all their support.
37 in the chat tonight, definitely cheering you on big time. Next week, I'm not 100% certain whether we're sticking to the calendar or not, but the calendar has Schleif combined. Combined, yep.
Big track.
So the 24-hour track, it is. We all scoffed at it in vets when someone thought they'd be mean to us all, and I think all three splits loved it. It is the ultimate driving track and one of the toughest cars on the iRacing platform. What can go wrong? No, it's actually good fun.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. We had some really good racing raced on it in vets. So we'll see what happens anyway. We'll see if Ash sticks with that or he changes it. But yeah, that's the plan. And then after that, we've got Bathurst, Winton, Phillip Island, and Barber to round out the season. So season's halfway through now. James in a pretty commanding position, but still very much anyone's game for any of the other positions in the top 10. So looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. And just want to say a huge thank you to Mark, of course, for jumping in, keeping me company. We'd be lost without you, mate. And a big thank you to Race Control, of course, with Josh and Dave. Reg away, did a pretty good job from what I'm hearing. And of course, everyone out in the chat, sensational having all you guys there getting involved. Of course, a big thank you to all the drivers. It was good to have some good numbers again tonight. We can keep that up for the rest of the series. Of course, that's pretty much all I've got. Anything you want to add, Mark?
No, it was a great race. Really enjoyed it tonight. The battle from second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth was epic. It went from lap 1 to lap 68. And yeah, congratulations to James showing his class again. And yeah, good luck to all the boys racing tomorrow night in the Pro Series. And hopefully we see a few for the combined Nordschleife track next week.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully Terry Taylor might be able to get himself out to come have a drive of that one too. Anyway, on that note, we will speak to everybody again next week at the same time. Thanks very much. See you all later.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.